Have you checked your mail? I've got my bodyguards right here. Yeah, we had a little snow. They're all tucked in. We had a record cold on Thursday, and when that faded, it turned into a record snowfall. I got my junk G5, I got my dead plowed truck, and I had a friend of mine do me an awfully nice surprise and a favor and come by with his tractor while I was lying in bed and plowed out my yard. The neighbor snowblowed her property, and I came here last evening, and I shoveled a path to my door. But I came here this morning, and my whole yard's been plowed with a tractor of some sort. I didn't see it. Snowblower, loader, I have no idea. So I've got my two-wheel drive diesel plugged in because there wasn't much of any antifreeze in the blocks. I've got it plugged in, and I watched for a spark over there by the outlet, so I know that it was juiced up, because 17 degrees will crack your block. And who needs to crack a 6.5 diesel mechanical injection engine? So I've got to get that blazer done. I've got to fix the carburetor, put the axle shims on to straighten the axle pinion, and put the locking hubs on, the manual locking hubs. I've got to drop the starter on this thing and see why it's got zero clicking, nothing, zero action. Maybe the solenoid burned up. And right now, I'm going to crank up my rust-free 2001 3/4 ton Suburban. And I'm not driving this thing in the salt, so don't you worry. I've got my SF sub. It's already had 10 winters on it. I've just got to find a body shop to bring it to, since Pisher won't do it. What's that? There's one key. That's a chip key from my 2008 G5, and in my pocket I've got a spare key because I left the other key at my apartment. So beep, 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 then it changes to the beep, 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 beeps. I hate the beep, 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 beeps. Let's crank this snow-covered Suburban. Probably never saw snow in its life. Crank her up! I noticed a very faint rod knock or piston slap. Not more than I've heard. Clatter, clatter. Interesting. A couple little noises, but nothing to be worried about. I just gotta change the sender and figure out why my oil pressure never goes above 40 ever and runs at 20-25. I put 5W30 synthetic in, Quaker State synthetic, with a K&N oil filter. So I don't think I'm going to have any trouble powering through this with my G80 Posse. Can you believe how much snow we have? Would have been nice if I would have finished my steel roof. I wonder if this thing will start. Couldn't get to it yesterday because there was too much snow. It's been plugged in for a couple of days. The starter sounds pretty nasty. It starts off cranking real slow. I've got to get a shovel. And there's no starter bracket on it. I've got one. The later 6.5s use what you could just use a very simple angle iron. I can make them out of a piece of angle iron. The earlier 6.2s use a more complicated bracket. I had one or two, but I don't know where they are. And guys are selling them on the computer for $50 for the 6.2 bracket. A couple people have asked me for them. I shipped one to Florida. The guy claims he never got it, and the post office claims they delivered it, and I got stiffed. One of these hard to find brackets. So I left the key in the ignition. Not like anybody's going to steal it. Let's crank this baby up. Wait for the glow plugs to go off, and you'll hear it crank slow, but with no bracket. I know, it's been like that for years. And the bolts are tight. I checked them. Crank her up! Oh, she starts up real good when she's plugged in. I'm going to pull the starter, have it checked, and I'm going to fix up this truck. I thought it was in better shape, but it's not. But it is what it is. What it does have is a bad head gasket. And I'm going to drain the 2 gallons of coolant that I put in. And I'm going to put in some block sealer. And I asked this question before, but which one do you use? The K&W, the Blue Devil, the Bars 2-part, but I'm going to do the one where you drain it and flush it. I think it's a better bet for me, since I can do it. I don't have to drive this thing. It's just a a tow vehicle for the future. You got to stock up on these things because they're far and few between. The latch is pretty beat up. The plastic coating is beat up. This is beat up. Somebody put new hinges and pins on it. It's got new hinges and pins, but the problem is GM welded the hinge to the door and the rad support, or the cowl rather. Not the rad support though. It doesn't close very well. I gotta do some repairs here. Have tape will travel. What I did do on my trip is I wrapped the straps around the control arms and I cut my straps. The place that I bought the trailer from was closing and I didn't have a chance to think about it. I should have got those straps that wrap around the axle. That way you only destroy a short strap. These were only $16, not the end of the world. But what I do need is someone with a good sewing machine to sew on a patch to that, or just cut it off and sew the hook closer. But then no, that's all right, because this part is the part that's predetermined length. Anyhow, that's running. That's running, and my mice are sleeping. It's amazing how fast this is melting. In the last hour, they've reappeared. All I saw earlier was one dead nose. Those little buggers. Clatter, clatter, clatter. Getting hard to find. People are asking big money for them. I didn't pay no $6,000 for a 20-year-old truck with numerous defects. I turn on the wipers and break the linkage. Auto down. Whoop. Think it'll do it? Listen to this bang when it hits the stop. Bang! I gotta grease that thing up. Gov lock, clunk. Amazing, huh? All I got here is a little bit of snow in front of the wheels, and she won't power through it. I know I can roll it and get some momentum, and the weight of the vehicle will do it, but no traction with these old rock-hard Michelins. That's it. A little momentum. And where's the neighbor's Buick? I don't want to run into the neighbor's Buick. Oh, we're stuck again. I have no idea where her Buick is. I don't want to hit it. I think I'm all right. Imagine that. Clunk. There. That's better. Corvairs in the summer, Chevy T-Rucks in the winter. Look at that. That doesn't have much action. Locking, unlocking. I checked it. That comes right off. You just pull that little button off. It's easy to do, but it doesn't have much locking action. You got the emergency brake on. You know why I do that? Keep it limber, keep it working. And once in a while you forget to put it in park. And then you got a big problem. It could just roll away, so I always use my emergency brake, always. Nice and dry under here. Well, that was fun. Maybe I'll drive that off the trailer today and take it for a test drive. I really haven't driven it. My buddy Nick just drove it from the guy's property to the road, a few hundred yards, not very far. Sounds all right. It's got a bit of smoke out of the breather. A little tired, no idea of the mileage, and the snow just fell off the roof. Bang! That's today's show. Suburban, Pontiacs, and Chevrolets, and one Honda. Rattle, rattle, rattle.